Should you explicitly make offers for your products? Should you explicitly say to people, hey, you should do this, or you should try my service, or you should try my product? What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Unconscious Communication Secrets. And today I'm going to be talking to you about making offers, right? Like if you've got a product or a service, should you tell people, should you explicitly ask people to try what you have, to buy what you have? And so, or should you wait for someone to come to you? So let me give you a very quick analogy, right? Like I want you to imagine for a moment that you're a kid and you want to play basketball, right? And you see a group of other kids playing basketball, and one of the teams has one person short. Now you can wait on the sidelines, just waiting, and perhaps they might ask you to join, or you could ask them. Now, is there a chance they'll say no? 100%. However, there's a big philosophy that if you don't ask, you don't get. And if it's something that you truly want, can you, if it's something that you truly want, shouldn't you just ask for it? Because there's a chance you'll get it. If you don't ask, you don't get. Like if you truly want to play basketball and you just stand there on the sidelines, like hoping that they're going to ask you, the chances are they're not. They're not going to notice you. They're not going to realize that you're there. But if you ask, this is where the magic lies. This is where we get results. This is where we get what we want. Not just hoping that it'll come to us from the sky. And this is so important because especially if you've got a product or service, you've got a product or service because you believe it will add value to people's lives. You believe it will help people. And when you offer it more, then you're going to contribute more, then you're going to make more of a difference in people's lives. However, if you don't offer, then people aren't going to. And people are sometimes suffering without your product or service. What will they spend it on? Now, this is such a common thing. We all kind of, in life, I've seen it so many times in my life, and I've done this, and I know that so many people have done this in the past. But if you think about it, a lot of people, what they'll do is sometimes, you'll wait for your boss to offer you a raise. But sometimes it's easier, and I've seen so many people get results when they just actually go and say to the boss, look, I kind of want to raise. What would it take in order for me to get that raise? Like if you ask the right questions, but if you don't ask, you don't get. Sometimes it's asking intelligently, it's asking smartly. But if you don't ask, if you just wait, then the likelihood is it's not going to go your way. And it's the same for expecting people to give you an opportunity. When I started speaking a lot more and I wanted to get some more engagements, and I knew that I was very good at motivating an audience to overcome stress and anxiety, etc. And I knew how good I was, and I knew that other people knew that I could do these things. But I went, and instead of just waiting for an opportunity for someone to come and say, hey, can you do this? I just sort of went and said to people, hey, would you like me to do a talk for your guys? And you see, I didn't wait for the opportunity to come to me. I went and asked for it. Now, so a lot of people just expect people to give them an opportunity just because they're good. But sometimes you just need to go for it. Now, the other one is assuming that people will give you the best price initially, right? If you are if you want to buy a car or you're selling something secondhand, etc., and if you're buying a secondhand car, assuming the person's going to give you the best price initially. If you don't ask for a discount, you're not going to get it. Now, does it mean you'll get it if you do ask? No. Half the times, if you do ask, you may not get something. But if you don't ask, the chances of you getting it are zero. Now, so the biggest mistake that I see people get into is that they ask you, and essentially they try to mind read what other people will want. And I learned very, very early on that was just not the way forward. And so when I first started my first job, and I did door-to-door sales, and when I was doing door-to-door sales, my trainer Richo, on one of the first days, he said to me, Munir, if you don't ask, you don't get. Whatever you do, however bad you think you're doing, just ask. It doesn't cost you anything. Just ask. And just ask for the sale before you leave the house. Even if you think if you think it's a hopeless case, before you go, just say, hey, would you like to do it? Yes or no? And you'll be surprised. And so I was like, okay. But then I started going in the field, and I actually started speaking to people. And one of the first houses that I went to on that particular day, I went in, and the person was such a difficult person. They were so difficult, and they just said, you know what, Munir, listen, you've been talking so much. I don't know why you guys come here, da. And they gave me a hard time. And I was like, okay, look, no worries, no harm, no foul, I'm going to go. And then before I left, I just went, now, before I go, would you like to do this or not? And the person, and like expecting that the person would just say no. They've given me such a hard time. And I was like, look, it's not going to cost me anything. I'm not going to see this person again. But let me just follow what Richo said. And I asked that question, and it blew me away. Like, the person was like, all right, fine, just give it to me, I'll do it. And ever since that day, I realized how powerful it was. And so whether I believe people will do it or not, I ask a lot of times. And I swear to you, I truly believe I've gotten further in so many different areas of my life just because sometimes I ask. And I ask qualified people. I don't expect. There's a difference. I always ask qualified people, but I don't expect. Right? Like, and that's why I get further, because sometimes I'm just like, you know what? It doesn't cost me anything. Let me ask. So if you got a service or a product, it's so powerful to just ask if they are a qualified person. And when I say a qualified person, I'll go through that in a minute. But like, I've gotten further than ever before by asking and not expecting. Now, does it always work out? And here's the reality: is no. Every once in a while, and I bring this topic up today because yesterday I made an offer to someone. Like, I went and I did a whole talk, and right at the end I said, okay, I've got this service, I've got this program, you want to get it. And this person got upset with me. It's like, well, why are you promoting your product? And I was like, well, at the end of the day, you requested this information. I've given you a whole bunch of stuff free. Now, it is my duty, it is my obligation, because you wanted what I have. You need what I have. You can afford what I have. You are interested in what I have. So let me offer you more of what you are interested in. And that's it. It is my obligation. And it's your obligation to find. And if someone doesn't like it, that's fine. You know what? Maybe it wasn't destined to be. But that shouldn't deter you from continually offering. I was like, okay, you know what? This person didn't like it. It's fine. I get it. No drama, no harm, no foul. However, it is my obligation for myself, for my family, for my impact in the world, if you're doing it, for your contribution, for you to impact other people's lives for the better, for you to offer people something that they wouldn't have before. It is your obligation to offer it to people that qualify. If they don't qualify, then of course, if they don't, then they're not going to want it. or then they're not going to need it. So if people qualify, it's your moral obligation to offer. So every once in a blue moon, someone will be like, why did you offer it to me? Why are you selling it to me? Well, if you don't want it, you don't have to get it. I don't mind. It's totally cool. But it's my moral obligation, because you asked for information, you need what I have, you wanted what I have, you could afford what I have, I'm going to offer you what I have. So the qualification framework is very simple. Do they need what you have, right? What do I mean by need what you have? So if someone wants to quit, someone needs to quit smoking, right? Because of their health reasons. Someone needs to improve their life because they're going through a lot of stress and anxiety. Someone needs to up their skills, okay, so that they can progress further in their lives. That's need. So if someone needs what you have, then do they want what you have? So just because someone needs to quit smoking doesn't mean that they want to quit smoking. When I talk about quitting smoking, like sometimes I get a referral in terms of a client, and the client, I'm like, okay, what's your interest? And they'll be like, well, yeah, my wife sent me because she wants me to quit. I'm like, well, yeah, no. I'll politely turn people away potentially in that scenario, because they don't want it. But anyhow, so number one, do they need what you have? Do they want what you have? And then can they afford what you have? Now, if they can afford what you have, they need what you have, they want what you have, and they are the decision maker. You're not talking to like some 10-year-old about buying a car, like, you know what I mean? Are they the decision maker? If they hit all four, then it is your moral obligation to offer them what you have. So that's the qualification framework. And when people qualify, your obligation is to satisfy. And another one, another phrase of the day that I wanted to mention is, you don't ask, you don't get. This is hugely powerful. You don't ask, you don't get. So I've lived by that. It has guided me in so many areas of my life. And you know what? To people that may be upset if I ask, I'll apologize in advance, but I'm going to keep asking, because it's my moral obligation to keep offering to people that have requested information, to people that want what I have, that need what I have, that can afford what I have, and that are the decision makers. So, and I want you guys to do the same. If you've got something that can help people in their lives, do it, offer people, and take it forward. So this is Munir coming at you with another episode of Unconscious Communication Secrets. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you on another episode very, very soon. Lots of love, peace out, and I'll see you soon.